Oh yeah, I thought he was in the group.
He's in the regular
The
panel
late
one.
night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Late Sesh, everybody. What is going on? It is that time.
Cheers. What's up?
Cheers, everybody.
So what's up, man? What's up?
It's a late sesh. Oh, you know what? That's what I was doing. I'm sitting here grinding a weed, but I'd never even pulled up chat, so I'm blind right
Yeah,
now.
that's what I'm doing right now, catching up.
It's a late
Got it.
sesh, you know.
It's
Yeah.
what we do.
I took
We
some
gotta come around
RSO
as
at
best we can.
9 o'clock, so I'm feeling pretty good. It's rolling in.
I
Doesn't
had some
feel-
RSO before bed last night, and I woke up at like after 12 and could not wake up.
Oh yeah.
I slept.
Oh
some-
wait. You mean noon?
Yeah, I slept till.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Nice.
Today.
I want to sleep till noon.
Oh,
If
yeah.
I take a heavy dose on the weekend, I can sleep till like 10.
I
I'm
went to
like,
bed late
yeah.
on Saturday and got up super early for the craft affair yesterday. So
Oh, nice.
I didn't get a lot of sleep Saturday night. So
Yeah.
Mondays are usually a rest day. Try to be anyways. So I got some sleep in. I fucking got up. Yoji got me up like 4 a.m. and again at like 8:30.
Did he serenade you to wakefulness? Did he sing for you?
Yes. Oh yes.
Ooh. Cheers, Daddy Red.
He's like a baby, gotta get up every couple hours.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
But he
yes.
cries before he gets out of bed first, so we wake up. He's gotta cry first.
Yeah,
Get you guys figured out, man.
He's learned to wake us up first. It's kind of nice. He sits there and cries until I'm up, and then once I wake up, then he slithers out of bed.
He knows the drill.
Yeah,
He has to
He's
like
super smart.
slither out for real, because
Real.
They
sleuth.
say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Apparently, you can teach an old red new tricks, though.
That's right.
he's got us trained.
Old dogs
yeah.
will adapt. That's for sure.
Yeah, man.
Certainly adapt.
Ah.
The old we're using the old inputs, fertigation inputs for homeopathic remedies now. Trying to see if it'll help. This damn chalzion. I don't know how to pronounce this thing. It's pronounced chalzion. CHAL, maybe another letter to ZION.
Charizard.
Not sure what it is, but it's this it's what a sty can turn into in your eye, and they can be pretty fucking persistent. Getting into a little wormhole on the internet, finding out that Epsom salts, good old fashioned magnesium sulfate, is one of the only things that's helping get rid of them for people. I don't know if they're talking about inner or outer. You can have them on the outside. Mine's on the fucking inside. It's painted. That's why my eyes all swollen and red. But I just did some soaking with magnesium sulfate, and I will check back in a couple weeks, and we'll see if this fucker goes away.
See if it's got roots yet by then, right? A couple weeks. You should get roots.
Roots.
Yeah.
You think it's chicken related?
We changed our inputs a little bit. We're trying to lower some unnatural sugars, well, at least refined sugars, out of our diet, and put some more natural sugars from, like, fruits, right? Actually trying to delete sugar as much as we can, but there's just a lot of calories and stuff that's in fruit that's very nice to have. Fruit's sweet. It's kind of a nice snack.
Dude, I totally thought you were going to start singing "The Bird is the Word" when you were hitting that ba 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 ba. You could have like totally swerved right into it, man, and regaled us with the song.
If we could afford like all meat and be able to just do that, all it just seems a little mundane, but it would work. I think for both Becca being type 1 diabetes, we've found some pretty interesting evidence suggesting that that could really help, because there's no sugars, not a lot of sugar source or carbohydrate source in meat. It's very minimal. It said that it would take like 70 grams of meat to spike meat protein to spike the glucose, which is a lot. That's like a couple pounds of meat, no, wait, I'm sorry, 70 grams. It's less than a quarter pound of meat. It's almost a quarter. Wait, 70 grams? Was it 70 grams? Maybe I did my math wrong and I was much more intrigued.
Online math, Red. Online math.
I'm like, man, don't do math on in public, so we're gonna stop there.
We're gonna leave it at that.
Anyway, man, yeah, it's been rewarding. I'm hoping that maybe not eating, Mickey D's and all that stuff will help this freaking thing go away.
For sure, cutting that out will do better.
Yeah, we actually haven't had that.
I do want to mention something at the outset of the show is if you guys are into the show as a podcast, we are uploading older episodes. We're keeping them directly in order. So make sure you go check out Apple Podcasts or whatever else you happen to use to stream the shows from.
Streaming is annoying.
Dude, I uploaded, I think, 11 episodes today. So that'll give some people stuck in term jail and stuff some older content to go back over if they didn't catch it the first time.
Well, a lot of times there's people at work that can't watch a video, but they can listen to something. So that's where the audio podcasts really come in handy for a lot of. That's why it's really popular. A lot of people's YouTube isn't even as popular if they have both. Their audio is usually far more popular than their. I mean, that's what we find with Cheap Home Grow. So if Potent Ponics has told me the same thing.
Mm-hmm. I uploaded the Potent Ponics interview that we all did with him. Shout out to Steve. So that's up. I threw a couple of, it's a month's worth of content. So there's a couple of late sessions. There's a couple of cool interviews on the Bro Show Lives coming through on there. We will have some new content coming up as well.
I will say, I know we're being broadcast on YouTube, so I don't want to speak downly about them, make them upset at us.
Shit all over it, right?
But I would say that recently it's gotten better because you can kind of like minimize the viewer and like go into other apps. But you still can't like close your screen, with like Spotify and with some of those other podcast platforms. You can like put your phone to sleep, put it in your pocket, not mess with butt dialing or messing around with your
phone. You don't have to have YouTube Premium for that. If you do it from Sequence was explaining to me today when he was trying to break it down. It was like, bro, just it's like the Joe Rogan podcast now. You've got the video that you can watch on there directly, or you can just listen to it as audio. So,
yep. And now they do. They have video on Spotify now also. But yeah, that's what I like about Spotify. You can actually close your browser down, or not close your browser, but you can put your phone to sleep, put it off to the side. It doesn't sit there and eat up your battery. It dies quick.
For now, Red.
For now, yeah, you are right.
I would say that's once they all figure out that's the model. Sadly, that's what the techies do. Yeah. They're like, like subscriptions. Subscriptions weren't a thing, 15 years ago, except for World of Warcraft. And then all of a sudden, they were like, wait, we can have an indefinite way of sucking money out of you?
Yeah, for me,
let's do it.
Lose me, and I'll just go to a different platform.
Exactly what happens. So you just have to be proactive.
I've probably paid for Spotify since I was in high school. Like it's just always been the one that I've used. And it used to be much, much cheaper being a student. But now it's like $10 a month. It's gone up.
Yeah. I use SoundCloud. I think SoundCloud you can put in your pocket for free. I don't know. I pay so that I don't ever have to hear you don't have this.
I got to go look on SoundCloud to see if there's some Big Pone robot music drops on there, like a mixtape.
I don't make music. I can't make music. I can't draw, but I like listening to it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I would show you guys. I watch the guys that like, the one guy who's like, oh, wake up, get out of bed, bitch.
Yeah.
And he's wearing like a fucking bathing or like a bathrobe.
Yeah.
Like that guy gets me pumped. I wish I could do that. I wish I could get people pumped by that with music, but I can't make music. I've tried. I remember GarageBand when it came out and stuff like that, but nope. It's really it takes a special mind. So.
I fucking love it, man.
You said it, man. You got the special mind, man.
Chat, if you guys have any questions about anything and you want to toss them in the chat, we will kick them around. Otherwise, we are going to continue.
I can give you guys a preview. I've signed on with a company called Humble Roots, and to be like I guess they call it brand ambassador or whatever. But what they are is just gummies to cut to the chase. And they got 3 different types. They're if you go to their website, they're kind of branded for like the exercise crowd, you know, because there's the different types. There's one for energy, there's one for rehab after you work out, and then there's one for relaxation, like before bed. But so they sent me samples of the relaxation one, and I haven't taken RSO because that's what I usually take to go to sleep. I haven't taken RSO in over a week now. Taking these instead. Now, I'm not saying that this makes me sleep like RSO because it doesn't. It doesn't. But I wake up earlier, way earlier than I normally do on this. So
Interesting.
it's like a good kind of in between if you're worried about waking up with that weed hangover kind of thing. But what I was really attracted to the company was like the ingredients, like what Red was saying with the sugars and stuff. It's only got like 2 grams of sugar. In fact, it's only 10 calories. I'm looking at it now. But the ingredients on it are kind of along the same lines of my beliefs with herbal medicine because they've got some cannabinoids in here, but it's hemp derived, so it's legal in all 50 states.
There you go. Yeah.
But it's not a lot. Let me see. This is the sleep one that I have, the relaxed one, but it's got 25 total of 25 milligrams of cannabinoids. So it's one little gummy. So you get 10 of that is CBD, and the other 15 is CBN, which I thought that was cool because both known to help with sleep.
For sleep, yeah.
There's some vitamin D in here, 1,000 IUs of vitamin D, which is fucking always good to have. It's got 5 milligrams of melatonin, the hormone that helps you go to sleep. And then this is the herbal blend that like kava root, California poppy flower, hops flower. If you research these all are known to help with either sleeping or sedating along those lines. Skullcap herb, passion flower leaf. I don't even know. I'm not familiar with this one. I don't know how to say it, but it's Shishandra berry, I think, anise seed and licorice root. So I don't know if it's what do you call it, placebo effect, or because
There's stuff in there.
But they taste good, and it keeps me. I mean, I get decent sleep on them when I'm trying to do like a tolerance break from the RSO. So that's going to be my go-to for it. But I'm going to make a post here in a couple days, and I've got like a discount code, and actually they're giving me a code to people don't want to even buy it and they just want to try it for free. They can get a 7 gummies, so it's a week's supply for free, just to try them.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I'll get that code out there for everybody the next couple of days, and I mean, hell, you guys can try it. It won't even cost you anything. I think. Yeah, I'll have to check. It might cost shipping. I'll have to look. I'll look into that.
Cool.
Nice.
Pergoli.
What up, Pergoli?
Cheers, guys.
So Pergoli.
Glad to hear that they're using things like cannabinoids like CBN, and while I'm not a huge fan of like taking melatonin often, we know that melatonin works, and I'm not familiar with those other ones, but I was really hoping you weren't going to say, yeah, it's sleepy time because it's got the terpenes that make it sleepy time.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Everyone in the industry is currently doing.
Yeah, and it's like the 3 different gummies too. If you look into them, they have completely different herbal blends in them, which when you look them up, or you might already like for one of them, the rehab one, the one after you work out, it had like ashwagandha in it, which is an adaptogen, which makes fucking total sense. So
it's also good for your mood.
Yeah, it's good for a lot of things, really.
Where are they out of? What the company?
What was it? It was the East Coast, I think it was. Hold on, I'm gonna look on this package and just wait and give you the correct one. Just look stupid and not say it right.
Working in the dispo, you definitely learn that your marketing is certainly marketing.
Marketing is definitely marketing, right?
They'll have sativa and indica so broadly labeled that the sativa will just have caffeine in it, and the indica
just buzzwords.
Yeah, this just says the only thing that in any of the buzzword, and it's just not even a buzzword, is hemp. It says hemp.
Yeah, that's good. That's nice.
Massachusetts is where it's out of.
Yeah, it's usually just distillate with something like caffeine or melatonin in it, and that's nice part. It's good that's got some herbs in it.
I have an edible question. Do you guys feel that there is a difference if you are getting like a distillate only product? That is,
absolutely.
100%.
But you can take a distillate product and mix it. Like you can use it to fill a gap. So say that you're getting a distillate of, some weird terpene that you can't get in flour very easy, and it's a distillate of that, or not a terpene, but a cannabinoid. So you can get that maybe in a gummy form. Maybe it's CBN even. We'll say CBN. Not that that's really hard to get, but we'll say CBN. You could eat a CBN gummy and then use it to fucking fill in the gap of not having a lot of CBN in your flour. So you can consume that maybe 10 minutes, 20 minutes before you start smoking or whatever. Just like the mango trick. When you eat the mango that has a lot of myrcene in it before you start smoking, you'll get higher off of that same smoke later on.
And if you're looking for CBN, go into last year's outdoor that you still have sitting around in a tote somewhere.
Hell yeah, man.
Where you will find it. In fact, take that old outdoor bud and bring it out into the daylight and let it sit without a baggie or something like that.
So I'm actually doing that with some of my flour that I've had in jars for a while. I've tucked them away in a tote and, just out of light and in a semi-temperature controlled environment. And I'm just letting them rest, burping them every once in a while, maybe like honestly every 3 to 4 weeks. And I am at some point going to process it all into food grade oil and use it for its high CBN content. The challenge is I will have to get it tested to have any idea how much CBN content is in there, because I can give you a pretty good idea of CBG and CBD and THC. And even some terpenes, just because of my experience in testing and the amount of testing I've done with my own strains.
As a fresh frozen guy, you're not going to see too much CBN though.
Right. I actually see a lot more CBG.
Exactly.
But that being said, I have no idea on the CBN side, so I'm going to test it so I can get some perfectly dosed edibles out there.
Yeah, we're at, like Dr. Lee,
one of those lime skunk cookies,
burping every 2 years. That's basically what we do on the stock. We might open it to check to make sure it's still dry or something. And I read I don't know if it was an article or if it was a research paper, whatever it was. It had some data that was suggesting that THC under harshly stored conditions took up to 4 years for a complete conversion to CBN.
That's like being out in the sun or not like having bad conditions, you're saying?
Yeah. Under like a harsh condition. So like THC will stick around for quite a while before it converts completely, and then from there, I'm sure there's some oxidation and things like that going on. So you're gonna probably drift off pretty quickly. The CBN will stick around for a while too, man. That's gonna stick around before it goes away. I think that the plant matter is gonna deteriorate way faster than cannabinoids are going to.
Yeah, I mean, I've got jars of like Silver Kush and Durban Poison from like 2015 that have. Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember that one, but that was back in the tent growing days. Still got jars of that have never been opened, but I can see it. I have no interest in smoking it. It'd be just testing, but
I think that
just makes them great RSO though, man.
Get something tested at like a year, have something tested at like 2 years, have something tested at 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Just to write the flower material. Yeah, just have different ages. That's a good idea. I like that.
See the degradation or
it'd be super interesting to see what terpenes hang out or what cannabinoids hang out longer than the others.
Can't imagine a lot of the terpenes are floating me around.
Right. Well, let's say that it started off as 25%. It starts at 25%.
I'd say beta caryophyllene hangs around the longest, I think is what I've heard.
After the first year, let's say it drops 5% total content. So now it's down to like 20%, right? We're going to start seeing that drop even more in like the next 24 months. Let's say that it goes down to like maybe 16 or 17. Even though that's gone, it's not gone. It's converted into something else. So you're still working with this, maybe not the full 25%, that we were talking about, but the THC will convert over time.
Yeah, your overall cannabinoid content is what it's
going to drop a little bit, but not like the THC level will.
Right. The THC level will drop, but your overall
Robert
level will probably stay similar, the same. Cheers, Robert. Captain 420 tuning in from over fucking Big Pond.
Yeah, over in Thailand. It's a good morning to him.
That's more than a pond. That one's like a lake. He's over
Yeah.
ocean.
It's like
That's
an
a
ocean,
full
a couple
ocean either way you go,
islands,
Red.
the rest of the
Yeah.
ocean.
What do you call
another
bigger than a
island,
lake?
A couple seas, a peninsula.
I call it space. Definitely space down there.
Space.
Hey,
The final
Baked.
frontier.
Yeah.
Baked. I saved 1 jar of each of these. I'm about to drop these. Whoa, almost dropped it. Saved a jar of each of these, radioactive and Chernobyl, for myself. But I'm happy and sad to announce I only have 1 jar of Chernobyl left out of all.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
The radioactive's a really good mashup. I
Is it
go
gonna
for
be
that
your
one
hash
more
time?
than the Chernobyl.
Hash time down?
No, hash time I'm blessed because Tara dropped by
Flex on him.
and
Flex on
gave
him.
me
Hold on, you wanna-
Spartan's Cobra
gonna show
milk. I don't have it right now. Is it
Yeah, I might
hash time?
finally get that Cobra milk
Finally.
tomorrow.
But I got
That's why
Cobra
you're
milk and
working
he told me
tomorrow.
I can take a dab.
Yeah, I told him he needs to take a dab because that's my first question. Is I want to know what he thinks about it. I want to know his tape, what flavors he gets, all that good stuff.
I'll bust
So go
that
get
out
it.
at hash time. All right.
Go
Well,
go get it,
What do you mean
man.
I'm
bust
so
out at hash
close
time?
to done trimming.
You say all that shit, and then we're like, "Oh, I'm gonna bust it out in 40 minutes." Get up there. And do it.
40 minutes. All right.
Hey, I'll talk about it while he goes and gets it. I'm
Yeah,
you know,
go
I've got
talk about it.
those. I've got let's see, 6 of them in flour right now under on 1 4x8 table, sharing space with 2 Mr. Cleans for a total of 8 total plants. The reason I put them together is neither of those plants stretch very much.
Right.
I haven't scrogged or staked them. They are in 10-gallon pots, and they're not even doubling the height of a 10-gallon pot, you know. So they're pretty squatty, but they're really starting to pack on the weight now, and I'm kind of concerned that I might have to like kind of do a last minute scrog just to support them.
You can do that really easy with just your stakes on the outside of your buckets and just duct tape around it, and without having to, because I don't like to stick them in there when there's, you know, because I like to use a lot of
No lace
stakes.
stress.
And then you can just tie a string from one stake to another laterally, all the way around, and make like a tomato cage.
Like a hoop,
and that'll save them from falling down on you, or
So-
at least breaking.
They're already in the 4x8 tables with the fast fit system and the trellis.
Sweet.
Yeah, so it's literally just dropping the trellis in. I was just didn't think I was going to need it because they're so squatty, but I think there's going to be a lot of weight on these, so I'm pretty excited, man. It's crazy colors. Like it's like they got like a kind of that still heavy-ish green, you know, with a little bit of lime green in the buds. There's like yellow in the buds and purple in the buds and a bunch of white frostiness. Yeah, it's a very colorful plant.
It's like it smells like Fruity Pebbles and it looks like it.
Yeah, it even looks like it too. So I'm excited for that one, and I will say, guys, we're only 5.5 to 6 weeks out from Hash Bash Cup entries being due. So I've got to make a decision.
Oh,
I got you spotlighted, man.
This way. I had it earlier. There we go.
Yeah, you did.
Well, now
You're showing
my
up
face.
some gorgeous
Yeah,
buds.
yeah.
How was
I was
that
about
to
to-
run? How was that to run? Like, in your opinion, did you feel you only had a small run? You didn't have a big
Yeah,
run?
I just did the one main clone of it so
There
far.
you go, babe. Come on in.
There you go.
Closer.
Oh, yeah, man, that looks really good.
Closer. That's moving it laterally. Come close. You're the Mr. Gesticulation. How can you not have these?
I like
hand
that
movements down by
consistency.
now,
It's one of
man?
my favorite consistencies.
Trying to
like
get
that.
it.
It's easier to deal with,
Yeah,
Good shit, babe.
or even the real dryer stuff.
It won't really show it.
some like crumbly texture.
There we go.
There you go. Hell
there
yeah,
you go.
man.
Yeah.
That's Cobra milk. Give that a whirl. You want me to
one
try
of
it
the
now?
Rose is grinding that up as flour right now. Cheers. Hey,
One of
Robert
the-
may be in Michigan for Hash Bash, dude. I may have to come out to Hash Bash if you show
Yeah.
up, man.
I won't be at the cup, but I might be at. I mean, I haven't missed the
Yeah.
bash for years, so
I'll
try
be at
to
the bash, but I probably won't be at the Monroe
No,
Street Fair.
no.
Yeah, me either, Brad. I'm with you.
Monroe Street Fair's got MSOs as sponsors. What?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I was like,
I mean, if you do wander down Monroe Street, just don't at least
Support
visit
them.
those booths.
there's more anti-freedom than the people vote and like lobbying to take away our freedoms as cannabis.
That's wild.
Exactly.
And then
That's
their
wild. That's a shame.
bill. Come on, man. Freedom Rally. Monroe Street Fair. What's up?
So you're gonna put that hootie hoo out there for Blue Kiss in case.
It's
Hey,
love.
cream.
Yeah.
Well,
Is
the
Astro
next
Charlie gonna
stream.
be there? I don't know.
It's this
in
weekend,
this-
I believe, on Saturday in Muskegon. I
No,
think.
that's a local show for her. Yeah.
We
Yeah,
won't be there.
we need some central. I
When
want some
they're
more Lansing,
when they're all inclusive on their hash, I'll be there.
like
There we
Fledge.
go.
We can't go because we have citric in the pocket, and that's all solvent, man. That's all that terps, that limonene solvent.
Yeah.
It's good stuff, though. Go to the Fledge in a couple
It
weeks. Right?
cleans the scissors. It cleans our scissors up for us so that we can trim through more. It'll burn a hole in your fucking Ziploc bag. That's for damn sure.
Every like pound of GMO that you trim, you have to trim an ounce of citric just to clean your scissors.
Shit, Red, you see that Tommy's gonna be there. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I do like citric, and I really like how much it is like Chernobyl, because I lost to Chernobyl, and now that Baked has Chernobyl, it's good to see that back in the circle.
Do you know what the cross is of citric? Like what the parents are?
Lime skunk and Orange Valley OG, and I believe that it leans lime skunk just because of really resembles Fagroli's lime skunk.
Right. I was gonna say,
Real
yesterday before the show, I went and hung out with some old friends of mine from like high school and beyond that we all do fantasy football together. So we have our kind of year-end party with the AFC NFC championship, dish out whatever winnings there are and talk about the rules for next year and whatnot. Well, I brought those 3 sample bags you guys gave me, the strawberries and cream, the not Hippie Crasher, what was it?
Cake and Punch,
Citric,
and Rainbow Driver.
Yes, it said driver or maybe it said rainbow on there, but yeah, Rainbow Driver, strawberries and cream, and citric. And I mean, everyone loved the looks and smell of everything, but there's 2 of my friends in particular that are very familiar with my lime skunk, for years and years, probably just as long as anybody on this panel, to be honest. And they looked at it and they kind of looking at it. And actually, I got it right here. Yeah, this is citric. They're looking at it and they're looking in the bag and they're kind of seeing these big, thick, like orange hairs. And they look at me and then they open it and they smell it. And they're like, "This isn't yours?" I'm like, "No, man. It's actually funny because it is an offshoot of lime skunk, but no, man, it's." And then he just, couldn't get enough of that sweet, deliciously citrusy smell. Because to be honest, since I'm not calling him out by name, he's one of those guys that will totally give a look at those $80 dispensary ounces. You know what I mean? So when you come across something like a citric from Red Center Farms, it's like your mind is blown.
You're in a bizarre world.
It's thrilling and gratifying and all those good words when somebody honestly has that reaction to good cannabis. It's a fulfilling thing as a farmer, as a grower. Been putting in decades into cultivating this plant. We all have, and when somebody's happy with their meds, it feels really good on the farmer end. And we get that a lot when we do these events. We see people come and we see how much they're there spending, and it's not a lot. I mean, some people are there getting their week's weed, and it might be $20 worth of weed, and they're going to go shopping. They're going to go to every vendor and see what everybody's got, and then they come back to us for an eighth, and then they're out the door, and it's like, damn, man, that person just they bought their eighth, and that kind of stuff is what is really keeping the ball moving. It's not the price per pound dropping the bottom. And to be honest, if nobody wants to buy our pounds, that's okay. We're gonna have to just find alternative,
just piece it out,
resources. Exactly. Because the general
good hash too.
The general public, the patients, there's a market for everybody. There's definitely affordable cannabis out there for people that need it, and I'm really happy that exists. And you know what? If somebody really, really needs cannabis, dude, we're always giving out fucking bags and samples and whatever. And if somebody is a connoisseur and they're the type of person that wants to, spend $25-$30 on an eighth, or dude, they're still selling $60 eighths at the dispensary. Let's be real. It still exists. We're definitely much more affordable than the dispensaries still, if for patients, when it comes to quality meds, because they will have we see it, we go on the website. You can go onto a handful of websites. I'm not going to say any dispensaries, and there might be a $20 eighth, there might be a $30 eighth, there might be a $50, and there might be a $60.
Might be a $30 ounce.
There might be a $30 ounce also. Yeah, and that is the market, and honestly, if somebody was like, hey man, I don't have whatever going rate for the ounces, but I have this much, but I'm looking for like an ounce so I can like make edibles or something, I'd be like, well, hey man, I have like shake, trim, bottoms, BCs, whatever. Like, let's make this work. You know what I mean? Like there's all kinds of like stuff.
Here's your parallel, Red, is think about it. What is the most popular thing? If you go to a party store, and for people that aren't from Michigan and don't know what the hell I'm talking about, party store is a convenience store that sells alcohol. And the funny thing is that if you go to these places, you'll find out that they sell the very, very bottom rung. So you can go in there and you can buy some Steel Reserve cans, the tall boy cans for probably 99 cents.
Yep.
At the same time, you can go in there and you can buy a banging ass bottle of scotch for, maybe $300-$400 as well. And there's price points in between. But the thing is, the fucking expensive shit's always the dustiest in a liquor store.
It is.
And the cheapest things are the things that are always moving out the door.
Can I give you an exact anecdotal evidence of that story, like from yesterday? I'm driving around, like kind of the area I grew up in, the east side of suburbs of Metro Detroit, and I went to 2 gas stations and 2 liquor stores to find just a 6-pack of a decent beer to drink with my buddies, right? And I'm a big fan of Bell's, Founders, a lot of those like Michigan, kind of sort of craft beers, right? That right there, Two Hearted, the only one I could find outside of Budweiser, Bud Light, Steel Reserve, all that kind of stuff. And I finally found at a 5th place. I stopped and what did I get? I think it was all day IPA from Founders. But I'm just like,
it's a good one too. Yeah.
Halfway decent one. But I was really surprised, man. But you're right. That's what it is. It's that liquor convenience store. It's just the cheap stuff is what goes, and there's very little amount of crap stuff.
All those bottles are what keeps them in business. You have to have that dusty bottle on the top to bring folks in when they say, hey, who's got the most, the classiest clip joint in town? Then you can send them their way. You know what I mean? So they can ogle the same bottle before they grab some Steel Reserves and run up out of there, or some Irish Rose or something like that.
Yeah, unfortunately with cannabis, the older it gets, it doesn't. I mean, hash, sure. Hash will refine better, but that plant.
Look at the dates on these ounces that are going for sub $75.
That's why they're going.
Well, dude,
is it like 9 months old sometimes?
It's not. It's not even that all the time. A lot of the times, it's what's not labeled. The fact that it's been remediated. I had to educate my friends on what a Willow machine was yesterday and what they're doing.
Let's talk about that. So, for people that don't know about, let's fill that in.
All right.
What is remediation? What's that mean?
Remediation is taking cannabis that isn't grown, we'll call it perfectly or even well,
something that would fail testing.
Yeah, something that would fail testing, be it pests, mold, mildew,
something dirty clean.
Metals. Yeah,
dirty clean.
They're basically, we used to say in extracts, fire in, fire out. You can't polish a turd, but then CRC came about and they started sort of polishing turds. I don't know how polished they are because CRC is still garbage, but they have different machines and equipment and methods of testing that allow a lot of trash, unsmokable, unvendable, garbage commercial cannabis able to be put on the shelves and sold to unwitting consumers. And the problem is, a lot of lack of ethics. Another problem is a lack of education on the consumer side. And another problem is saying we're going to regulate things when we don't actually regulate things.
Well, and then the unknown, unspoken problem is lack of tolerance. So they can go in there and get just about any kind of shitty weed and get high.
Mhm.
And that's the ultimate goal of somebody going into a dispensary today, at least.
I think you're right. Yeah.
8 out of 10 people, they want to get that effect. They're not really there for the terpenes.
They'll figure out their
Or
flavors when
the
they get in the
ability to
store and
not
look at
get
the
sick.
menu.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
that's
most
a
people don't even
important one, too.
realize or are connecting the fact that they might be getting sick from this. I mean, look at the E-acetate thing or vitamin E acetate thing that was making a bunch of people sick
The
apparently with the
cartridges.
cartridges, yeah, and all that fake stuff going around. And you still hear about people getting sick, and you know, these I don't know. I often think editorialized, you know, articles that come out. Or sensationalized that talking about people getting sick, and it's usually not cannabis related. It's usually like pesticides or mold or, you know, contamination one way or another. It's not the actual plant, because when done right, clearly it's not an issue.
The only time I've ever seen this has been on the shelves. Now I don't know, because it doesn't really say whether or not something's been remediated, but you can look back and see if something has passed or failed metric in the past, because you can look up a metric number and you know, you could probably ask an associate to ask a manager or somebody to do that. They probably won't do it.
You can just look at the picture on the metric tag and put it in online on your phone.
Okay, if that'll tell you
Yes.
whether or not that information.
But isn't that after you've already bought it that you're getting that tag?
A lot of times, yeah, you're not allowed to even touch the damn thing.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
You should be able to ask, like, if somebody came in and asked to know the testing on it, you can look it up in metric.
It's
but
not
it's a pain
illegal
in
to
the
give
butt.
anybody that information can be transparent.
do it.
It all depends on whether or not the dispensary is going to make it transparent.
Yeah, something tells me 4 out of 5 dispensaries are either going to give you a hard time or just not give you that information in the first place.
Well, it's usually
And
not like the basic.
Everybody else is gonna lie. Be like, yep.
right, yeah, and the other one's just going to bullshit.
If you give them a hard time about it, just be like, "Well, I refuse to serve you now," and then just go find somewhere else to go to the next dispensary for $8 joint. But the okay, anyway, I noticed, like, okay, you know, I'm gonna try to represent this so you can understand, but like what I saw in this weed. Like little pits, little holes in this weed, as if there was something that was missing, that there was now a little round void, and there were little tiny little pits throughout the calyx, throughout the structure of the weed, throughout the flower and the nug. And I'm looking at this bud, you know, on display, and I'm like, what the fuck? A couple different strains that are on there just had these little like pinholes all over the fucking thing. It almost looked like you know, like when you cure a crumble or something, and it looks like Swiss cheese. There's all these like little holes. Okay, so this is like little holes in the bud, and I'm thinking to myself, was something there that has now been deleted by X-ray or by microwaves or something? Are those like contamination ports, you know, or those little caverns where there was like, it almost looked like, you know, like after Blackhead gets removed and there's a cavern there, you know, like was something there. It was weird. I've never seen this in flower before, but I never smoked that shit, you know, and I wouldn't smoke that shit. There was a very limited number of suppliers on the shelf that I would even touch their products.
Did you ever figure out what it was?
Oh, no, I have no idea what it was.
Okay.
At the time, I don't know if I had any insight to like check metric tags or had the ability to like check metric tags or anything like that to like look it up or know to like look it up online. I had
It was bulk that we would like put into, we would white label or whatever. Is that what it was?
I don't know what it was. It might have been white label bulk. It might have been
Well, I know exactly what you're talking about, the brand, but I'm not going to say it. But
I really don't even remember which brand it was. I feel like it happened in a couple brands, but yeah.
Have you guys ever seen a like a test from PSI Labs, or I guess any of the other labs, maxed out on a category for failure? Like legit, like so.
No, like
okay,
the highest the thing it could read.
Yes, yeah.
There you
go. Fuck, dude, I don't have it with me. It's on my other phone actually, because I got it in a text message, and I don't have permission to share it. But I was sent a PSI Labs test result for commercial cannabis harvest, and What is the scale for molds? It's like
It has an upper limit.
you're muted, Spartan.
CFUs usually.
Yes, yeah, and it's I don't know. It's like 100,000 for rec and 40,000 for medical or something like that.
It's like
This
10,000 unless they upped medical. They might have upped medical to 40. It used to be 10,000 on medical.
okay.
And
I might be wrong.
70
Yeah.
on rec or something like
I
that.
have a feeling they probably upped it because so many people were having issues passing. But
Yeah, I think that did happen. It does sound familiar.
this test result came back, and this was something that wasn't remediated. So this is why stuff gets remediated so often. This came back for 9,999,999, whatever that unit was you just said.
Whoa.
I wonder if the machine just caps out at that, and it was
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Gotta have an upper
100%.
limit.
There's no way it was actually 9,999,999. You know,
Right.
oh, I saw that.
That's probably like visible mold. You know what I mean?
yeah, right. It's like
oh boy.
It's just like all mold.
Well,
It's a
80%.
whole mold.
It's just,
With it minus the THC percentage, with the rest is mold, right? I do want to give a fellow working man. I see that Sequence is in the chat running the MBGS account. He is working afternoons this week, so that he is on the road. So everybody send some positive vibes and some smoke in the chat for Sequence. He is missed this evening.
I just want to say the fuel pump seems to be working.
Yeah, obviously, right?
Yeah, he was
Nice
saying
job
he
in the
wouldn't think there's any quantifiable number could have a cap up until it's 100% or whatever. But yeah, they don't do it with percentage on those specifically. It's not a percentage. It's see if you count. So that it's just a number.
right. Yeah, it's not a THC like based on weight by volume or whatever, you know, or volume by weight. Did I say that wrong? I'm so dyslexic, guys.
Take another dab, bro. That's all you gotta do. It'll
The dab ring
square
goes
your
on.
rate up, man.
Well, should I do radioactive or Chernobyl?
I think that you should do Chernobyl with baked for whenever we can talk baked into it. Come on, Spartan. Cable
They
them up
already
real
hit
quick.
it, didn't you?
I already did a Cobra Milk.
Yeah, but he didn't even talk about it. He's just like, I'm just gonna hit it.
I know.
I'm
I
not gonna
was
shit about it.
talking.
Must not have been impressed. I guess.
Must not have been that good, right? Fuck.
It tastes
Wow,
just
bro.
like the plant. It's really good. I think it's locked up because it's cold. Terps. So once I hit it, it was very tasty. I got like super tasty, but again, that Cobra Milk isn't my alley, so it's not like I was like, oh.
Wait, what is your alley? So I'm aware.
Garlic. Come
Are you
on.
I like-
kidding me?
well,
All he
I like-
grows is GMO and GMO
I
crosses.
like
I'm
shit. Yeah,
wondering
if
what he
if
likes.
it's disgusting, like if it's
Right.
gross, like
Dude, I wish I could have
GMO
got you
or
some sweet
Death
pink pie back in
Star,
the day.
stuff like that.
It was like
I like
baby
that.
shit diapers.
Oh, he
I
likes
like-
gas
I like-
though too. Real
I like
gas. He
gas,
likes it.
fruity berries, but not like I don't like candy. Like if you could give me Skittles, like once I smelled something that was actually Skittles and it was called Skittles. But that was delicious. Oh, and I really, really like shit that's like, you know when you open a bag of warheads, not a single warhead, but like a bag of warheads, and if you were to stick your nose in there and just sniff that sourness, and you, but, oh, like
Oh, man.
I like smells that make you go like, oh, that's tart. That's tart.
Ellen
I'm
can.
gonna have to dig up my
Dude,
sour. I'm gonna have to dig up my pack of sour tansy because I grew, I think, only 2 seeds of it, and both phenols were so fucking sour I couldn't even smoke it. It was
Yeah.
so fucking
Wow.
sour.
Yep.
Dude, I definitely get the lime sherbet on the Chernobyl though. Like a different kind of lime than the lime skunk for sure, but it's like that smoother, creamier lime.
Yeah. What's interesting, yeah, if you go to the like websites where Subcool used to have the seeds, and his description was lemon lime Slurpee. And that's it kind of comes out, but I mean this isn't, there's so many phenos, he probably had a different one. So, but I definitely understood. I was pleased to see it was in line with the description. So
Did you guys see these new Q-tips for giants that came out?
no, that's ridiculous.
Hold on, let me move you up to the top here real quick and
Damn.
put you on.
It's so big.
I
Is
don't
that the turf slur or is that from Glob Mobs?
No,
The turf slur?
No, but I think I might make these available at forgirly.com soon.
There you go. Right.
Wait a minute, I got
Little,
one.
like-
I got one question though. I feel bad enough throwing away fucking.
I was about to say.
fucking little Q-tips.
Right?
Yeah, that's fucking insane.
Yeah. No, I feel like I could probably like burn off the layer of terps on that and then use it again.
That's a chimney sweep.
Yeah, show that off one more time. Throw them up. There it is. Yeah.
This is my
comparative.
This is my my 22 caliber Q-tip and my 50 caliber Q-tip.
I don't even want to tell you what the 50 caliber one looks like it should be used for. We'll leave it at that.
Oh, okay.
Now I'm curious because I'm not really certain.
Yeah, I
what that
got
should be used for.
Skibble,
Maybe I got really big ears. Maybe I got
curious,
like
man.
the
I'll just be. I'm gonna take your
gauges.
word for it.
Thank you, Spartan. That's what you should do. I love the Late Sesh, man.
Ooh, Chernobyl give me them dab sweats though.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like, sipped on a whole Chernobyl dab by myself, and it. Whoa, man!
You guys were talking about that Ruby that you guys have when I was on my way home before the show yesterday, and
Becca, do you want to hold that up? Hold your
yeah,
leg up.
no joke. I mean, we legit did pass that around
Hold on,
between
let me
the four
move
of
you
us
up
at
there.
least 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
It's like a real solid low temp dab that lasted like 4 or 5 minutes, maybe almost like 3-4 minutes.
It's just a little bucket, like your
insert.
foot, and it goes in. I can take it out, and it's super easy. Hello.
Hello.
I have to be on the main screen.
Don't show it off. I just don't want to show it.
Yeah, I was
It's
over here
just
putting my
not
good
good.
eye out of the screen.
It's the good, you want me to do it again? Okay.
No.
Got the good eye and the gooch eye.
There, go ahead.
I'm obsessed
You want
with
to see
it.
it? You want to see it?
Not his eye.
Say R one
But
time.
you're obsessed
Red.
with that,
Show
too.
me a pirate move, Red. Yeah. Yeah. There, that's the face right there.
You could pass for it. I could see it. He's got the hair, you know. The
Man,
body
I can't
jewelry.
believe it's still 14 more minutes to hash time. I feel like we've been chugging for an
Yeah.
hour already.
I mean, it's okay to take a dab before an
Yeah,
hour in.
yeah,
Skill
that's-
though.
it-
Like,
it's-
Absolutely, it is. Absolutely.
I was smoking before the show too. It's not like
We're not
Yeah.
holding up the cash.
I broke the
Skilbo,
seal on
this
it.
country
with
was
the-
built off of dabs.
Hey, you know what? We had spoken on one of these shows like a week or so ago about hash for breakfast, and Red said the only way you can smoke hash all day is if you smoke hash all day from the very beginning. So on Sunday morning, I was like, you know what? Okay, cool. So I had some garlic cane hash that I broke up and sprinkled into my joint at like a 50%. You know what I mean? Holy shit, man. That's a great way to start the day for sure.
I think he said to you that if you want to smoke hash all day, you got to start with smoking hash in the morning.
Start in the morning.
Becca said she credited DP.
It's getting passed around, and we'll see who's going to land on next. But I think I'll do some garlic poison, courtesy of our friend Forgirly, who is away. Oh, he's not away. As soon as you say his name, he's like fucking Candyman.
Forgirly.
Hey,
He will appear.
Fuck,
Yeah.
damn, that's fuck that. That could stick for Growly, man. You get a bunch of sweet terps, you know, like candy terps. And man.
Well, actually, there is a Candyman seeds out there. He said, gifted me some seeds. I think last year actually, but yeah, I've you know, I come from a marketing background, and like while I hate advertising nowadays, I still enjoy like the prospects of branding and stuff like that. So I'm always coming up with like new company names and shit that I'll never use, you know, and like can't afford to like trademark or do anything with, but it's just like fun reasons and stuff, you know. I have a whole laundry list of companies I'd love to start. Either have the resources nor the time, though. That's how it goes.
Oh yeah, exactly. And if you had the resources, you wouldn't need to start a company.
Right. Although I don't know. I would just probably immediately, like if I won the lottery, that's probably what I would do is like, all right, everyone on the panel, what kind of business we starting? You know what I mean? Like, let's do this. Like something has to happen.
I've got everything from agricultural to mall kiosks going on in my head.
I got it for Growly. We can make
Ninja
our
Warrior
own
mall
MBG vert. What we can do is we can make Terp World instead of Disney World. We can make Terp World.
Whoa.
Can we obtain our resources
That's a pretty good marketing idea.
Going
You could
down
have
the
your-
Clementine slide.
ethically?
Dude, let's go ride the lime skunk swings.
See?
Wait,
What if you just had, like, I always thought about, like those fondue fountains and chocolate fountains.
Oh yeah.
Like, what if you had, like, I'm trying to think of a practical way to have, like, a party dab fountain. I'm thinking, like, when you go to those yogurt places and you can fill up your own cup? Like, what if you had dabs like that, and then you just walked around with an e-nail or something?
So
I don't know. I'm brainstorming.
A fun thing to do with that would be to have like a
called a
jar,
salad bar.
bucket, right? And then each bucket has whatever. Let's call it 3 grams of, or let's call it 2 grams of diamonds in it, right? And then you take, because that's just THC. It's essentially, mostly THC.
Oh yeah, I see where you're
that,
heading.
And then you go to the Slurpee machine you're talking about, and you
that's
a little of this
terps.
Clementine terps.
Like
I
the
want a
Jimmy's.
little
Okay.
yeah, or maybe
flavors,
I just want straight
the
lime
flavor
skunk
pack.
Then you can just have it at a bar, and then
Chocolate sauce.
at each bar stool, there's already a fucking e-nail that's like fixed. That
fully
doesn't-
clean
Yeah,
dab rig.
Yeah, that's what the
it's
people
not
are there
even-
for. They're there to take your money and clean the e-nail.
Well,
Yep.
dude, it's not even just an
No.
email.
Wait a
It's
minute.
whole
Look.
dab bar setup. It's an experience. You got different buckets. You got terp slurpers. You got e-nails. You got fucking Puffco.
You see
feet,
that?
Yeah,
You got,
basically, but like user friendly,
Look
so
at
it's
that.
got level.
different kinds of ways to drop it in.
Like a slushy machine keeps the slush moving. You have to, otherwise it'll freeze. So this will just be the opposite. It's heating, and then we got a spinning thing to keep it motion so the terps stay terpy. And we'll call it Mr. Terp.
You don't want to agitate it too much, but I understand what you're saying about keeping it a
You
certain
don't want to whip it,
temperature.
right?
It's in
Yeah,
it's in a sealed container. Shouldn't be all right.
Well, yeah, but my mind first. Well, heat, agitation, and oxidation are the 3 things.
It's
that are
perfect
gonna
heat.
activate it,
It's
but
like we're talking
Wait,
like
wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a
we're
minute.
talking
You
like
said what are the 3 things for Growly?
heat, agitation, oxidation.
Well,
what
light.
about light?
I mean, I don't worry
Is
about
it
it 'cause I don't deal with
agitation,
it.
oxidization? Isn't that the same thing?
I don't have the glass jars like this anymore. I've got the fully sealed jars. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't really.
But isn't the agitation because it's you're introducing
You're breaking
oxygen to new
terps.
parts of it? But if it were in a sealed
Possibly.
container and you agitate it, there's no more oxygen for it.
Well, there's
This
place is
whatever.
on fire,
If it's in
dude.
a
This
sealed
guy's
container,
working
I wouldn't
and
worry
fucking
about it at
working.
that point. Why does it need to be moved for any reason?
So okay, I want to back up here because what we're
To
talking
keep
about right
it
now would work
flowable.
with distillate. And where my mind went first with this slushy machine was distillate, because distillate is kind of already that viscosity, right? Terpenes, it depends on the terpene profile. It could be a sludgy type viscosity. It could be a very thin type viscosity.
Okay.
So
Oh,
that
shit.
matters too. But he's right. Like terps evaporate fairly quickly. Some as low as like 70. Well, I should say
You
90.
could just have a traditional dab bar too. Just fucking get your
All right,
fire
we'll
at.
put it on 70 then.
Just keep making
It'll
the
just-
shit
it'll
like you
just
do
be
now.
nice and
Just so that
flowy.
blow
Well,
people's
dude,
minds.
Baked, what I'm saying is like I've got like some of the terpenes I have will be stable at like 45 degrees, just 40 like liquid. You know what I mean? Still.
Stable. What is? Oh, okay.
Like
so
just
they could be
liquid in the
pourable.
jar. Yeah, and like
Alright,
you don't need to
okay.
do anything to it. You could just have like a gravity fed honey.
Then
machine,
yeah,
you know?
that's what. As long as you can flow out of a little user friendly knob.
Yeah.
You gotta make it user. The place has to be bright. Maybe put a sprinkle bowl over
You're gonna
there in
have,
case people
neon
want
lights?
sprinkles.
I'm feeling more like a casino
called
where there's no
Jimmy.
windows. You're just there.
I would
jamming for
love a
hours.
casino, a fucking consumption casino. That'd be fun.
I think the bowling alley's better. I think that idea.
Oh yeah, man.
Well, yeah, it's more doable. I think.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not.
You got the bowling
secrets,
alley.
I'm not
figured out by your
advocating
box.
for distillate. I'm just saying that's where my mind went first because of the viscosity.
Can we have the cool bowling alley carpet with the where you put the black lights on for the party and they got
I love
cheese
that.
on
Yeah,
it, all that
the
shit, yeah.
space bowling. We'll
Space
call it.
Had the bumpers up on all the gutters.
Did
For
you
sure.
guys have you guys noticed the radioactive does this? Watch this. I'm gonna have to probably turn off some
Does
lights.
what?
Give me a second.
We may move you up there.
Oh, you got glow in the dark?
Dun 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 dun.
my screen's gonna be too bright, but this yellow radioactive right there, it's gonna be too bright.
You got glow in the dark ink.
The like a black light actually makes it glow like that, like you're talking about.
That's cool.
Okay, cool.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
We are 6 minutes Dougie fresh from hash time, so now would be the time to gather all your accoutrements. Make sure you have a lighter or a hemp wick, what have you.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Another dab.
Get your accoutrements and such together, baked.
You know what, Spartan? Don't worry, I'm going to
ready.
use this Q-tip.
That's quite the Q-tip.
That's
That's
I mean, it worked, I think.
the
Hey, as long as you use
forest. The
it in your
forests
bang,
are
that's fine.
appreciating
Just
it.
use it in your banger, man.
These are supposed to be made out of bamboo.
Yeah, that's
I'm not
actually
so
what this
sure.
is. It's bamboo. And actually, I swapped over to bamboo Q-tips from the regular old school, like. branded
I feel like I
leather
fell down a
Q-tips.
rabbit hole. What? Wait.
what?
So you pull it out of that little box and it ends up that giant thing? What is it, like a telescoping Q-tip?
No.
What? No.
Red's high as shit.
Yeah, man. We're talking about two different
The
items here.
fungi went from your eye to your high.
Say
Yeah,
eats me.
man.
Did it say drink me? Why is it so large? What do you swab with
He
that
did
thing?
not pull that out of that box.
I like big things, Red. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what he
This is
saw.
a for girly size Q-tip. That's all
Oh
I'm
my
saying.
god, there it is again.
There it is.
It's a bamboo Q-tip. It's 50 caliber versus my 22
There's the
caliber.
original. Oh,
Don't
The elephant gun, right?
you
I
just holding
take
it
big
close. One really far away and the other one closer.
No. I'll hold them in the same hand. Look at that. There you go.
There you go. Come on, Red.
Where were you?
Look at, look. Hold on. There's even two of them. Now I got two of them.
Oh my god.
Now he's really.
Oh,
in a
I'm
full
getting
ball.
it. I'm getting it, Skilbo. It's a pap smear. You were talking about a pap smear earlier, weren't you?
No,
Damn it.
you're in the right wheelhouse.
he
You're
went
in the
there.
wrong area.
You
You're in the
went
wrong
there,
area.
yeah.
It just came to me. I was holding a
And he decided it was worthy of
Bob.
share.
mouse pops. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, there you go.
Was that it?
What?
What?
He's not going to tell me now.
No.
Huh?
I'm trying to figure out what you were talking about earlier, what these were for, or why I had them.
Why? I don't know why you have them, but I know why a lot of soldiers fear those.
Wait, why? Why do soldiers fear the? Oh, okay, never mind. I don't. Yeah, we don't.
Coming up to speed for Girly. There you go, buddy.
Dude, I'm still at dab time.
You're still on dab time, right? It's only dab 57 right now.
Guys are killing me.
Killing me. So.
I will say though, I don't like the bamboo sticks as much on the regular Q-tips. I bought like some organic bamboo ones on the lead of one of my friends, and some of that dabs a lot. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like I'll bring these to the next show. Like ordered like 1,000 of them, and they just didn't work as well as the regular Q-tips. So we ended up going back to these. But we, after we went through,
What do you
those
mean they
1,000.
didn't wear like the cotton or the this? Because I do find that the bamboos, some of them are weak. So you'll go
Yes.
to like swap and it'll just be like and break, and you're like, oh, cool.
That's one of
that
two
never
issues.
happens with the other kind, the like equate
Right. They just,
or
I mean, they
whatever.
bend, they break, like whatever. And if they,
you have to really bend them to break them.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you got a dab tool, right? Versus the bamboo one, you got a splinter. You know what I mean? Hey, I've done that a lot. But the bamboo ones, they splinter out, and that can be an issue. But the other fact is they just don't. They remind me of like I don't know. I think even on the show we talked about like a month ago how like Q-tips from this brand and Q-tips from the dollar store are basically Q-tips. They're not. Like they're really not. And these really like mop up anything extra in the bucket.
Mops.
Yeah, and those bamboo ones, I felt like they were just not as like absorbent. You know what I mean? As like it's kind of like certain
more
paper
smearing it
towels
rather
versus
than picking it up.
The object is to get the shit out of there so we don't have a chazzy banger. You know what I mean? We don't waste too much time in between. Becca, have you cleaned your rig in between the last dab and this one coming up in 2 minutes?
Yeah. I prefer, so we have glob mops, but I prefer normal Q-tips because they clean up more. These ones, like,
too packed.
I feel like with the skinny end, I'm like, I can't get what I want to get correctly, and then I'm wasting it, and then it just, I like how these little baby ones just get everything in one little go.
Fake news, BHO hate speech. That's a good one. Dabs have dropped here in Thailand down to $100 a gram. Wow. That's crazy.
Y'all need some deliveries or
yeah, where's the what's the export import?
Yeah.
Export import?
Get in the export business.
Let me grab some radioactive.
Last time I was there, it was definitely like, well, no, it was in Singapore, which is I think just south of there, that they were
Hash
just knocking your head
time.
off, like straight up hang you for cannabis crimes.
Yeah.
It's still like that. No, Malaysia. I don't know. Singapore,
No,
Malaysia.
Thailand was where the Cannabis Queen documentary was. This chick from like New Zealand or Australia. She got kind of set up where like she came in, or maybe she did it. I don't know, but they caught her and gave her life, and I think they finally got her out, but she was in there for like 20 years.
Right, life in prison though, but in Malaysia, just south.
Yeah,
of there,
but
they would hang your
like
ass.
yeah, in like the worst. Yeah. So that's what's interesting that they went legal.
I think it was not too long after I went to Bangkok I started growing. I don't think I was really involved in cannabis until I went there, but I definitely knew the laws about it because I was, definitely a smoker.
I say it's the internet, man. The internet, spreads information and gets through some of these countries. Like, hell, even the United States with prohibition was up. If there were other countries that, that had more, like Amsterdam, for example, had a little bit more freedom in those matters, it comes out, oh, guess what? There's no cases of people dying. And, you get to start learning some of the truth. So
the education is so different over in Amsterdam as someone who lived in Germany for a few years. They are so forward thinking about things, and they just don't really seem to have the issues that, other places do with it because it's been normal for so long. For Girly, this garlic poison is amazing, and I gotta go back in for a second one. Cheers.
Is it garlic poison or garlic punch?
This one is the poison.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Never know with Skilbo because he could have had something you ran 6 years ago. He still got
damn right, bro. I still got an old lime skunk, and it still tastes great. You know what? Hold on. Let me hold up the oldest lime skunk that I still have some in. And granted, you have to realize it hasn't been stored properly at all, like by any stretch of the imagination. But one good thing about Mr. Marketing over there is he always is fucking around with the graphics on his shit, so he'll be able to know exactly how old this is. I'm going to say that this is probably from... This may be 24 months old. This may be this one specifically. All right, for Girly, I need you to put your deer stalker cap on and come out swinging. When did you do this jarring? Oh, let me get it to focus properly. Is that clear?
No,
I've got it on.
You recognize that jar for Girly?
Yeah,
you got on me.
2 years ago?
You got to face it to the camera.
Oh, hold on. Let me go full screen so I can actually see what I'm doing because I have to have.
He's got them boomer eyes,
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. I'm old as shit, man.
Hey, Google, studio lights bright white.
Okay, so
where's my magnifying glass?
You see how old that is? I think that's probably 2 years, and it still looks. Hold on, now this has not been kept in a fridge. This has been kept in a desk drawer, but this still fucking reeks.
Absolutely. Yeah, that looks really good.
Yeah.
Oh, it holds. Even sort of juicy.
It is. It holds great.
Shining back at you.
Yeah. Oh man, the nose is still there, guys. Now I'm putting the poison away. Now I got to go with the lime skunk again.
I got him.
I mean that's my favorite one. Still, you've only done it once, and it's been at least 3 years since you did it. Was the lime and grapefruit was just par excellence wake and bake shot. You want to talk about like you love smoking Citrique or Chernobyl in the morning? Whew.
If sativa had a definition in 2023, it would be that. You know what I mean? Whatever that terpene profile was, man. I can agree. I busted out the safe, and I actually there you go. There's the a couple 2015 jars. We've got Purple
Holy
Trainwreck.
shit, that's pre-me there. I didn't even know it back then.
Purple Trainwreck and Harlocks.
I've heard of Harlocks before.
Harlocks was a rare dankness CBD
That's why rare
heavy,
dankness.
I think.
Yeah.
Purple Trainwreck was one of the worst strains I ever grew, so I don't know why I saved not only 1 but 2 jars of it.
Because you fought so hard to get them, you weren't getting off them easy. You're like, fuck that shit.
Yeah, this might be the earliest one. There's that Silver Kush I was telling you about. That's
Yeah.
8/14/2015, so coming up on 8 years on that one.
When was the first year you ran Clementine?
2016, I think, is when I started running
16,
Clementine, Lime Skunk, Durban Poison, Grapefruit Durban, Flow. What's the freaking squatty purple one? Red.
Grape Ape? Oh, Grape Ape?
Yeah, Grape Ape. Gosh, probably some of the bunch of these in here. Chemox.
Chemox, that's a rare dankness too.
Yeah, that's another rare dankness. There's some Durban Poison. It's some 10-week Durban Poison with no date on it. Oops. So you see how like brown it is, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it happens.
Harvest all
This looks state of Michigan, man. Looks like the thumb. Looks like the lower peninsula.
Yeah, it kind of does. You're right. Star Killer. I kind of want to smoke that one. Shit.
Bust it out. There's no better time than the present right now.
I definitely don't have the right accoutrements for that. Kimbo Kush 4417.
Kimbo Kush. Holy shit. Now that's like 2012-ish era. That's
yeah. Pineapple Kush. Is that right? No, Pineapple Express. Sorry, 8715. So that's another really early one. And then Dynachem. It was Dynafem Seeds Dynachem 8715.
Yeah.
Again, I haven't opened any of these jars really, so I don't intend to necessarily today, but one day I will.
Could be a 420 thing
on the screen. This one, check this out.
Oh, Med Grower.
Yeah.
Shout out to Med Grower 1.
I'm almost certain that's blue cheese in there from like 2015 probably.
Now there were a couple people that did blue cheese. There was a Barney's blue cheese, and then there was it Buddha? Oh shit, which one is it? There was another breeder for it. I grew out the
Buddha seeds or something like. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, big Buddha seed.
Big Buddha seeds, something like that. Yeah, there was 2 people back then that were doing blue cheese seeds. Oh.
Yeah, I'm not sure who's the breeder is.
Man. I grew
remember
that
it was definitely Barney's farm, but
yeah, I had the Barney's.
Oh, yeah, you know what? I feel like that sounds familiar, but maybe I'm just familiar with that one. So this has got to be 2017 because this is when HCFSE and HTFSE kind of became terms. High cannabinoid full spectrum extract.
I'm so glad we went away from those.
Yeah, me too. But I would love to try to get you guys to guess the strain on this, but this is probably the most requested strain over the years.
Durban?
No. Oh, the most requested strain I don't have. Put it that way.
Indigo Daydream.
Way to bring it back, Spartan. There you go. Get baked going.
Dude, I guarantee you I have some Indigo Daydream in here. Let's see. I'm just going to rapid fire.
Oh, you hear that, Baked? These guys are
did you see
hold on.
Is there? I don't think there's a way to zoom in with this. I'll just try to focus them real quick. I'll do 2 at a time, maybe. White Widow, Mother Berry. We got.
There you go. I got to bring you back. There you go. I had to get it up full screen.
Durban Poison and Cheesequake.
ooh,
Cheesequake. That's an old subcool strain.
Yep, he sent me those seeds. Another White Widow with Clementine, so you can tell the jars, right? 2017 and before. This is like 2018 and later until 20.
You know, we were talking about Dynafem. They had a strain that was called Blue Widow that was really, really good back in the day. I see you got a White Widow, so that was the species.
White Widow is the most narcotic smoke I've ever had. It's yeah.
A horse hoof to the head.
to the bean.
Cherry Lime Haze, 3rd place. The first High Times Cup I placed in, I guess.
Yeah,
it was with Cherry Lime Haze.
Show and tell with Fagroli.
Yeah, I don't have the seeds to do it like some of these guys like Baked, but I do with these 9-pound hammer cross or plus, I guess cross with Plushberry. or maybe I mixed it with plush.
Or is that a run? Yeah, somebody's run.
Yeah.
And then orange cookies OG. No, I grew plushberry. I think I got that from like Malik Spider or something. I don't know, man.
Man, remember when 9 Pound Hammer was like all the rage for? Was
Yeah.
that like 10 years ago? Baked?
Those?
Sorry, say
I
again?
don't know.
You go back into those at all? Is there anything in those?
Oh yeah, they're all. I mean, these are all
They've been
like,
sealed.
yeah, full jars that I threw away, or not threw away, but like this one's actually kind of loose. But yeah, you can see they've slightly oxidized. These have not been temperature controlled. Like these have been at points like 90 plus degrees. I'm certain of that. So it's like, I got one that's I got a lime skunk down here that's like stuck to the bottom. It probably leaked out on the side there. You can see the leak. But it's a lime skunk, and this is like I feel like a super old jar.
You said 2017 or before, right?
Yeah, THCA sauce.
That's the one right there. There you go.
CBN in that bad boy.
Yeah. I mean, sure, a lot of these do.
I would bet that if he cracked the top on that lime skunk, it would still smell amazing.
I mean, I could smell it because I think it busted itself out. I found another jelly bean.
I do want to say I'm so glad that you got away from those fucking silly ass. Remember when they used to get stuck to the inside of the lid because they had that seal thing in there? Oh, dude. The first time that I got Clementine from For Girlie was the first time I met him because I was fanboying because he was on GrowTube Roundtable and shit. And he was like, dude, the Clementine's really, really saucy. So you want to really be careful that it doesn't get tipped. And of course, I got a pack on. So I was like, wow, it can't be that bad, When I opened that thing up, man, it was all over that thing. So the dab tool had so many dab tool, like fine scrapes getting all that out. So worth it.
Yeah, we've learned a lot, and we've come a long way in our packaging, and it's cost me a lot more nowadays, but it's worth it to maintain those terps and whatnot. Here's some of the oldest packaging. This might go back to 2015, 16. Not recommended to do it this way anymore, of course, but this is what we used to put like our shatter in.
Yeah.
So shatter in that, and then this is lime skunk crumble.
Oof, dude, crumble. Now.
Yeah, like crumble, which looks kind of like diamonds now, but it's really
earwax, man.
But it's like crappy plastic. Like I wouldn't even smoke this. You know what I mean? Like, Chubby Bunny, man, I really thought I had OG Blend.
He ain't got it.
Yeah, right.
You see, you got geeked, and he's still holding out for that indigo daydream to come.
That's right. We're gonna have a lot of it here, right? Right, Baked.
Yep.
How are Baked? How are those doing while he's rifling through that?
I got like I don't know, like 20 of them that are doing well.
Oh shit.
Yeah, a bunch of them came up, and then they just kind of toppled over. It's like it almost looks like they got pinched in the middle of their stem, but I didn't pinch them, so I don't know.
Which one?
The light was on the lowest.
Oh, biochem, nice.
That's probably stanky.
Yeah, I know what that color looks like. Yeah, I got some jars like that.
So this is the last one I have. It's an unlabeled one, and we're just gonna go ahead and call that
first one.
Okay.
Like the original.
Yeah, but that's show and tell. I mean, I got a couple other ones like GG4 across the Corkle and whatnot, but that's.
So for Growly, how did you get to the point that you said, you know what, I want to get a column and I want to rock this shit? Like, what was the moment for you that was like, I can do this?
There was never a moment that I thought I could do it until I did it.
Right. It's a hell of a leap of faith to make, though, man. That's a big time investment. You can't just jump into that.
I'm trying to remember what got me into making hash in the first place. You know what I mean? I definitely started like many of us did back then with a glass tube and a
glass tube, baby.
Yeah,
and
like
cans, man.
Yeah, some like rubber
outside.
bands around a couple, coffee filters and.
Did you have the adjustable fucking clamp thing? It's got the screw like you use for the dryer vent. Did you have that around the coffee filters too?
I think I eventually moved on to that, but I definitely started with rubber bands. And I think the reason we moved on to that because the solvent would get to the coffee filter, and then the liquid would come up the coffee filter, and then it would get those rubber bands, and then those rubber bands would freeze, you know, and then they start crackling off because they're like, you know, sub 40 degrees or whatever, or negative 40 degrees, something like that. So yeah, you had to get the steel, but then if you had the steel, you didn't want to over tighten it on your glass, you know, so you didn't want to, like, you know, start cracking your glass or something. That'd be real dangerous.
Are you guys talking about a hose clamp?
Yeah, hose clamp.
Oh, okay, all right, yeah.
Yeah, basically what we use to connect our ducting, right? The same thing. It's just miniature versions. But man, what got me into hash making? I don't know. I think I was always interested in edibles, and I think I was doing like the pot of like the crock pot with like an ounce bag of weed and like a couple things of butter. Then you're moving on to coconut oil and all that, you know, and you're taking out, like putting it in the freezer, taking the water out after you strained it through a cheesecloth. Just like those old school methods of essentially extracting, but extracting it into a medium that you're going to cook with, or into another ingredient.
In refining.
Yeah. And, you know, of course that whole scene, like the whole industry now is in large part, almost not a majority, but like, you know, a very big chunk of what happens with this cannabis is going to extracts in one way or another. And, you know, it does become essentially in itself an ingredient, but I think that was the start, was the kind of the intrigue and the science, if you will, behind that. But then it was like, I really like talked myself into the fact that I wasn't combusting anything, and I wanted to get away from like smoking, you know what I mean? Anything. And so I'm like, well, if I'm refining it down to just like the cannabinoids, the terpenes, and like, we didn't know too much about terpenes, but the cannabinoids and the flavor profile, you know, of what I like, you know, then I'm getting rid of all the bad stuff, right? I'm not burning anything. I'm not combusting anything. There's no or minimal tar or anything like that. So as long as I'm getting the solvent I'm using purged out enough or properly, like this should be a safer method of smoking, right? And I think I kind of just refined that through and through over the years. And here I am today. But I think it, you know, it was almost like a natural progression. It wasn't necessarily something I went and sought out to do. It was kind of like, all right, well, I'm growing, and now like, what's the next part? Okay, like maybe build my grow a little bit better, like increase, you know, whatever my like volume or something like that. All right, get some better equipment, understand VPD. Okay, like maybe you start extracting, because that seems to be like the next step after you grow, right? If you're harvesting it, you want to do something else with it. And so I started, you know, looking into processing, started doing that whole open blast thing, which is a terrible idea. Don't do it ever anywhere. But you know, and then like we got like these hair straighteners, our girlfriends' hair straighteners and shit, and started like squeezing out rosin. And, yeah, man, like literally, I remember standing in my condo, like standing on top of a hair straightener with like no, you know, just a boot on, like we didn't look nothing else, like I wasn't like keeping it in place, and the hair straightener clamp, you know, it's supposed to come down like this, so it like slipped out, you know, and it just basically busted the thing. And I was like, this is stupid, you know. I don't really understand it, but you know, then we were all right, so we'll get some clamps, you know, do it slowly, do it, you know, lower temperatures. And
then watching Pedro, you know what I mean, when he started doing the pressing and shit, it was like, oh, the game has changed again, man.
Yeah.
See, Spartan and Red both were like, yeah.
Yeah, he crushes it, man. And I'd love to get out there and see him one day. And he's got a lot to teach a lot of people too. But then speaking of Pedro and rosin,
shout out to Pedro and Dizzy,
man. Yeah, for real. Shout out to Pedro and Dizzy. It made me think of the cafe or whatever we were talking about earlier, the consumption lounge idea. Yeah, the bowling alley. When I see those rosin presses, like with the parchment and there's just that pure gold drip coming down, it makes me think, if we were talking about a consumption lounge, cafe, whatever, that's like that pour over coffee, or you got the freshly ground coffee
French press.
Right? Yeah, well, not even French press, really. It's like the pour over, where it's just drip, drip. What do they call those glass carafes or whatever? They got real popular like over the pandemic.
You got it right. It's a pour over.
Maybe it's called pour over. I think I got my mom one. You put it on top of the cup.
Yeah, it's an hourglass thing. I don't know what it's called. Pour over. Yeah, pour over coffee. But it's like a real slow process of like making coffee versus just like your machine or an espresso or something like that, right? Like that kind of makes you think like of rosin. Like you're like, oh, that's the rosin dab bar. I'm gonna wait literally hold my bucket or set it on the counter there and watch this stuff just be pressed right in front of me, right into my jar. You know what I mean? I'm smelling those terpenes as it's going into my jar.
For me, it's the guy that does the coffee. What we're gonna do, we're gonna incorporate those long glob mops that you have there. You ever see the guys that do like the Turkish coffee where they put it in the sand? It's got that, they get the long arm on it. They put it in the sand for a minute and it starts to like foam up and they pull it back out and they put it back in and then it's like
super hot sand. Yeah,
dude, that's how you can use those right there.
Here's what it would be.
You can dab down the fucking handle.
It would be you walk up.
Or we could do a black rock thing.
Like
we get a black rock all the time. You can just dab off the rock.
I showed that video.
Everything would be freeze dried, so you wouldn't actually see the buds or the oil. It would all be freeze dried. So you'd like Durban poison, it's freeze dried. What do you like, sir? Oh, I like some Durban poison. He scoops out how much you want. Scoops out how much you want. Packs it into a bag. I'd like a fresh press, please. Hey, fresh press is that shit for you.
Or it's just a buffet, and you go up there and scoop your own out of like the whole trays, right?
I can't trust the public with a buffet of dabs. Are you kidding?
You're gonna mix the tongs up just like they do it like
the tongs. You're gonna mix everything,
dude. It's like it's like when you go to BD's Mongolian Grill, right? And like they're back there cooking that up for you, but you're you're picking the ingredients, you're stacking it up tall, you're doing whatever you want. You got them raw ingredients. They're going to make the final product for you.
I used to really like some Mongolian barbecue.
I know. It's probably been a decade since I had it, but it was so good.
That bowl is like overflowing with at least another bowl's worth of stuff on top.
Oh, yeah, dude. Dude, I went to one spot, and I don't know how we'd get away with it. We used to be able to grab 2 bowls, just fill up 2 bowls worth of stuff. And that was really, real easy. You wouldn't be able
that's that poor man living when you really don't have the loot for it. So like,
bro, don't fucking snitch on yourself. They're still out there. They're gonna be like, oh, this motherfucker got 2 bowls on us.
All right, there's 88.
You're gonna get a bill in the mail.
Cool shit.
I was more like shocked by the story because I was waiting for a full blown red story, and it was just like, yeah, I got 2 bowls.
Yeah. Well, I was
like, damn.
One, but
I was like, ooh, you're super cool, man.
Yeah, 2 bowls, 2 bowls. Yeah, no big deal. 2 bowls.
I mean, shouldn't the bowls be proportionate to the size of the person, or maybe not? Because I guess everyone's.
I'm not even going to make jokes on that,
man. I'm just trying to get more food over here, and I'm trying to justify it. Just getting a second bowl for free.
My story came back to the pour over coffee when shout out to Daddy Red. I haven't seen him in chat. He might.
He was here in the very beginning of the show. He's in the chat.
Shout out Daddy Red if he's still listening. He hung out here.
He might be still hanging out.
He stayed here for a couple of days with the OG one. We went out to the Rocky Mountains and went down to Kentucky and went to Mammoth Cave. Did I say Rocky Mountains? Smoky Mountains and Homesteading Festival and all that shit. And he stayed here for a couple of days. Poor Daddy Red, he likes his coffee in the morning, man. He takes his, a couple good scoops of ground coffee, puts in the old electric pot, which is probably preset. He just hits that button. He probably already got it set at nighttime, in fact. He just wakes up in the morning, pushes the button, that sucker drips for him. And
he's got it preset so that at 5 a.m. it's dripping before he even wakes up.
Well, he was a morning shifter. He was a morning shifter. Would get up for work at 5:30, out the door, and he'd have to get out the door, with his cup of coffee in hand and go to work. And it's quite the habit. And he came here, and poor guy, man, all we have is, we have a pour over, we have a French press, and we have a percolator. But we don't have any electric coffee pots, or we don't even have ground coffee.
What's a percolator do?
Whole bean coffee. He had to get out.
You can make coffee in a percolator.
Get the mill out and mill the coffee.
Is it just a bubbler?
He used their weed grinder. It's that herb grinder. I don't know.
It's a bubbler. I don't think I've ever seen
you wanted those chocolate diesel terps, bro. Right there. You get the coffee terps it's like Bubba Kush.
The plant material is put in the top, and a little tube goes through the middle, and as it boils, the liquids boil up the middle and out.
Yeah.
Top and percolate.
Coffee percolator.
And then it makes bigger batches.
Oh, but you can't see it all. It's like it's metal.
You
Yeah.
can see it if you get the ones with the glass top. So check this out.
Yeah,
Get them with the glass top, and you watch for the boiling. And after it starts boiling, it's like an 8-minute run. You know what I mean? You let it boil for like 8 minutes, and then you take it off, and it's done. So you can like time it. You know what I mean? Do you want a little bit more extracted coffee? Run it 12, 15 minutes, dude. You're gonna have yourself some mud. You know what I mean? If you want some a lightly brewed pot, just run it 5 minutes or whatever. Yeah, I used to run a percolator for a really long time. I don't know. It was probably more energy doing the percolator. I just liked it. It was just nice coffee. I never used it. I should have.
What about an espresso? Do you guys know what the difference is between an espresso and a coffee?
I do, yeah.
It's
So,
a finer grind.
it's a finer grind. Yeah, it's a finer grind, and you're forcing water through at a faster rate, so it's taking in more of the alkaloids, so to say. A coarser grind is going to be better for something like a French press, and like a pour over is just like a normal mid coarse fine grind. A little finer, you're going to extract more alkaloids. It's going to be harder. So the finer it is, it's going to be harder for it to get through that filter paper. So that's why you have to force it. And that's why you need an espresso machine, because of steam and pressure force it through the filter.
Presses too.
Let me ask you this.
or something.
Yeah.
Can you make a decent coffee without any sort of energy source like heat, electricity?
No, because coffee tastes like shit, so you can't make a decent coffee.
Cold brew.
Well, I'm wondering to coffee drinkers, like let's say Apocalypse closed loop system.
Yeah,
Closed loop system. Here we go.
Coffee,
Let's go.
and you're a mile away from the nearest fireplace.
If you have a kettle, man, you can put grounds right in water.
There's no robot music.
You make it solar
in a
oven, man.
bad mood. You just want a cup of Joe, man.
You can make coffee.
You can get camping percolators also that you can like put on the fire and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
I actually have it's essentially a slow drip for camping, but it's a silicone thing that folds down into a flat thing. But like there's a base, and then the inside of it comes up just like a coffee, like a cone would, right? And you can put I would definitely put a coffee filter in there, because otherwise you're going to have a little grounds in there, but you don't need to, because there's just like a couple small micron whatever holes at the bottom. You just put your coffee in there, you pour it over, and you set it right on top of your mug. And
just pour into it.
Yeah, it makes actually some pretty good coffee, or maybe it's just one of those starvation type deals where when
you're out in the
woods,
field, bro. Any coffee is good. Coffee.
Yeah.
If it's an apocalypse thing or a closed loop thing, as long as I can find some fabric, you got a filter. You know what I mean? At that point,
or just drink it off the top. You know what I mean? Like
that's what I mean. Yeah. That kind of coffee.
I've seen so many camping videos of people just dumping coffee in a pot with boiling water.
What?
And then they just sip it off the top, dude. Like
Don't
when you're out there,
don't they make powdered coffee?
Grounds in it, bro. Always.
It's awful, but yeah, instant coffee.
Instant coffee. That's one thing of that you could just make it. You wouldn't even need a fire. You just need water.
Or you could just use water and drink that.
Sun tea, man. Sun coffee.
Yeah.
Fine.
Dude, we need our drugs though.
That's what I would do. But
come on.
Yeah, that's how
I'd also be searching for Sprite and Mountain Dew. But
that's what you'd be searching for.
Yeah, some sort of like
Wait, what was that one?
You can't tell me you wouldn't be craving a Monster.
Was it a what's his name?
Yeah.
Woody Harrelson? Was it a Woody Harrelson movie where
sweet drinks?
he's
First place,
damn, the whole time?
I'd be wanting a Swiss cake roll. That's what I'd be really wanting.
Oh, I think I got
Yeah.
some, but is it too late to eat a Swiss cake roll? Yeah.
After a week or so, when people's coffee is gone,
what's gonna
people
happen?
probably
You're
gonna
gonna turn
be.
into a pumpkin or something, man.
You don't sleep good when you get older
And
and you eat late.
Let me introduce you to my friend called the Relax Gummy.
Perfect segue. Holy shit!
Code
Smart.
Smart
I gotta give you
Grow.
a raise.
Code
Dude. That
Smart
was ace.
that's nice.
This is the marketing episode.
I would
There's
say-
herbs and
I found a better appreciation for coffee, like fresh grinding coffee. I really did. I really wanted to
it
quit.
makes a difference.
I really wanted to quit drinking coffee because of caffeine
Nah.
and all that shit. And I did. I quit drinking coffee many times.
Moderation.
Whatever. But once, dude, this past
I really
couple
like
years,
coffee.
we started. I started fresh grinding a couple years ago, and since like my friend kind of put it to me this way, he's like, pre-rolls from the dispo, they kind of suck, right? I'm like, yeah, they suck. He's like, they suck because they were pre-ground and they're like 6 months old or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's a good point. He's like, that's exactly what pre-ground coffee is. You know, it's already oxidized. The second it's ground, it starts to oxidize. You know, and that whole beans, that all flavor, that whole potential is pulled up inside there once you grind it up. And they got the packaging, the metallic mylar or whatever they're using to keep it fresh, but still gonna begin to oxidize. And
Yeah,
I took that kind of like thought, and I was like, all right, I got some whole bean, and I actually found decaf recently. Whole bean decaf.
Red, it's kind of like the idea that we have with pre-ground coffee and pre-ground cannabis. Like the pre-rolls and stuff are not freshly ground, and they taste a little bit different.
Just
it's the same thing.
It's a richer flavor. It's
Dude, I'm with you. It's been years since I've used pre-ground, other than when I was like out in the woods and stuff, and I just literally brought like a Ziploc of stuff I ground at home, But so okay, I'm just trying to think like setting wise. You said something about the coarse grind is good for.
Well, it depends
French
on
pressing.
Yeah, it's going to depend on your filter type, right? So, like a French press is usually like a metal filter. It's usually like, I don't know, man, maybe bigger than a 150 micron. It's probably like 200 micron or something like that. So, like a coarser grind is going to be good for something like that. A little bit finer than than like busted chalk is going to be maybe like sand, something like that. Regular, like I always like to think of, if you open up like a good old fashioned can of generic coffee, you know what I mean? That's like your basic grind for filter paper.
Yeah, sand is a good way to put that together.
And I'll use that for like pour over. I'll use that grind size for pour over and some other stuff, but I'll keep it a little more coarse for like French press. And then like if you go any finer, if you keep going fine, like powder sugar and shit like that, that's where you need like assistance. But you'll get more alkaloids out of it. It will be stronger.
More bitter.
Coffee.
It's a bit more bitter when it's fine.
There is something to do with that too.
Yep.
You'll find that the amount of time that the coffee is in contact with the water has a lot. So the amount of water that you pour in at a time, and the amount of beans that you actually use.
There's a whole method. I watched this really nice
roasting as well.
Oh yeah, that's
like green beans. There's so much.
Talked about the weight of the coffee versus how much water and how much you should pour in every like 30 seconds. You let it open, right? You pour just a little over to get the flavors exposed or whatever. And then you pour like half of it. And
coat it to like rev it up. You know what I mean? Yeah, like
so silly. But
espresso is like that too, though. Like, the reason I want to talk about this a little bit more too is because I feel like a little bit of a moron. Like I was diving into espresso for a couple of years before I realized that you don't need something that's labeled an espresso bean to make espresso.
Right.
It's just typically a darker, finer blend, right? And this is like, I already been grinding my own coffee for a long time. But since then I've kind of broadened my horizon, and I don't like the darker, bolder blends, which would you think would have more caffeine, a dark blend or like or what do they call them?
The light roast. The light roast are supposed to
breakfast blend,
because it's not like
right. So when I think about it, for some reason, when I got into coffee, I'm like, oh yeah, the dark roast must have more caffeine for some reason.
Right,
it's the opposite. It's the light roast has more caffeine. But the dark roast is typically what they use for espresso. But it's like when I think of espresso, I think typically more caffeine per ounce or whatever, but it doesn't have to do with necessarily the bean. What I've done is I just found a bean that I like the flavor of.
Yeah.
And of course, it's milk chocolate and caramel. Shout out to Kahawa, I think is how you pronounce it. It's a African, I believe, base or at least harvested beans, and they're like all over Africa, I think, but this specific one is called like the Safari blend or something. It's milk chocolate and caramel, and guys, it's like that's my flavors for coffee.
Is it like a sweetened bean? Is it like a flavored bean, or is it natural?
I don't know. It's not oily, you know what I mean?
Kids out there,
it's not like a whiskey blend.
Dude. That's the thing. I know. This is a very like and I'm not like diving that deep into it, but I'm also like buying the Starbucks beans or whatever.
Like barrel stored beans and stuff come out really sharp.
Sometimes
man.
they just have a really strong alcohol
Yeah.
flavor that's like a
Dude,
little too much.
Someone had brought some of those in to work when we were working at the shop, and it would get brewed in the morning, and I would go down like, somebody drinking Jack Daniels. It would just
Smells like it, yeah.
Smells like the brewer, the bourbon room, man. You know, it's super wild just how much it lights up, and it is a nice flavor. I like it.
It's nice flavor in the wintertime.
But yeah, it can be just too much for a full cup for me. You know, like I like to drink a whole cup of coffee. I don't want that whole there's some sweetness to it. I don't know, whatever. Just like that.
Just pour yourself half a cup and then add water to it, right?
Yeah.
Then you can combat that.
Well, I'd more like just a little cup. You know, just wouldn't want to waste it.
So
Red Setter likes a little cup, you say? Now, is that a little cup to you or a little cup
the
to
wee
me?
espresso.
Oh,
Wee cup.
oh, cup jokes.
No.
I'll have you guys know I have 16-ounce mugs for my hot chocolate. That's a big cup.
Baked, when you do hot chocolate, are you a Swiss Miss or what? Are you doing?
Well, so when I was in
chocolate
Florida, I would go to the gas station. They had a community machine. Best hot chocolate of my life.
Oh yeah, they have like the cappuccino.
But you
and the
can't
hot
buy
chocolate.
community like mix or anything. So right now I'm on Swiss Miss Rich. The rich. Get the rich. It's delicious.
Milk or water?
Man, I can't.
Milk.
Okay.
Milk. I'll drink water if I'm out in like the desert and that's all I got is milk.
2%.
I got
vitamin D,
Swiss
whole
Miss.
milk. What?
I get
Spartan.
that whole.
Spartan,
I get that whole.
Okay, nice, good. Well, you're doing
No,
right.
I mean, I try to tell Baked where to get the good hot chocolate, but he goes and
What
gets
did
the
you
crap.
say?
He's cutting you off
The
again.
Great Lakes, man. The stuff I sent you a picture and everything. I'm like, it's right next to the shit you buy.
No, I don't think you told me this.
I did.
Listening.
Definitely.
Well, you'll have to re-picture me.
No, man, I only did it one time. I'm sorry.
Next to the Swiss Miss, there's nothing else but Swiss Miss.
All right. While Spartan is calling out all of us out on our product choices, can we share the screen I'm sharing right now about this coffee that may or may not be?
I'm about to look up hot chocolate.
And I just wanted you to see that, Spartan. Thank you.
That's your brand, right?
Yeah. This is
what does that mean?
Safari up
what are you
here.
showing me part of that
I
window?
know.
What does that
We're
got to
gonna
do
get
with
there. We're getting there, dude. We haven't even gotten past the second line
Oh,
of text. I just want to share. I would see this. I would see espresso on the shelf, and I'm like, oh, that's what I got to buy for my espresso, right? Like, but no, you don't have to. So I'd buy the Safari, which used to say on there like what the flavors were, but it's I don't know, medium roast, I guess is what it says there, whole bean. It's caramel and milk chocolate, I think is what it says on the current packaging. I don't know. Let's find out.
Are you getting this at Meyer? Or are you ordering?
Yeah. It's no. You can get a Meyer, Amazon, pretty much anywhere. I think. Well, I shouldn't say anywhere, but the grocery stores.
Dude, the
how do I find out like where this is sourced from?
I want to know what hot chocolate.
I don't think the web page is going to say if they do anything.
Well, usually it like says something about it, like if they're not sourcing it from
responsibly harvested from somewhere.
My thought.
Should I Google?
They have like seals and stuff of all the different. I don't see one.
Yeah, we started getting picky with coffee because it's like an extract.
Safe trade and all that stuff.
Yeah,
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense, right? The story of coffee.
It says it means coffee.
You can objectively kind of like pick through like some things, right? Like is something like a nut, like nuts are relatively safe, even though they spray conventionally.
You heard it here first. Red said nuts are safe.
So like, I mean, I'm not going to say like their methods are the best, but like, if you're going to consume like stuff that's conventionally grown, nuts are not the better list of that kind of stuff because they're in that shell, they're not being directly sprayed. Then it's after farming that they get messed with and handled and everything that makes them unsafe. So
other stuff,
What was the point? Some of the coffee.
Yeah, we'd like to get some hardy pecan trees, man, or at least one, so we could have some of our own. Pecan's probably one of our favorite nuts.
I used to love it when you used to call them. You didn't pronounce it that way. You used to call them pecans.
Pecan Sam.
Hey, interesting fact I just learned. Have you ever got a grassy taste from your espresso?
Ooh, interesting.
for your
No.
bean.
That'd just be a
This
bitter.
guy says if it tastes like grass, there's not much you can do about it. Grassy flavor means the inner bean is underdeveloped, not cooked properly. That's the fault of the roaster.
The roaster.
Yep.
What if you get it
So
green?
it's not the farmer,
Because
it's the processor.
I was looking at the koala,
Oh, yeah.
and this guy literally, he goes tasting notes, milk chocolate and caramel, just like you said.
Did it
So
say
that's
where the,
interesting.
did it say where the notes came from? Or if it was
Oh, I forgot to look for
I'm curious
that.
if it's like naturally
I'll do
occurring
that.
in the bean or if it's
I think they have different.
I mean,
No.
yeah. Good beans, good coffee beans is like cannabis in which the flavor will come from that. But most commercial beans, from my understanding, are flavored. So
right,
you know, any of the Meyer, like it's like Traverse City cherry, like that's not
yeah,
coffee grown in Kenya that tastes like Traverse City cherries. It's coffee that's grown in South America that's sprayed to taste like Traverse City cherries. You know what I mean? It's one of those things.
exactly. Yeah. Whether it's sprayed with essential oils or terpenes or whatever. Always curious.
Yeah, I'm curious about this specific one.
The grapes too. That's a good example with grapes and wining practices and stuff like that too. Because like some vineyards will be like, you know, this bottle is like all from the same plant. You know what I mean? Like that's like way better than like a bottle that's like, oh, well, it's gonna be like from 6 different plants, and you know, depending on the growing season, they might have different variations of flavor, so you might not get the best. Hey, don't rub your head on that. You're gonna cut your head off.
Hey,
Oh,
don't rub your head
Lord.
on that. Come on, Dioji.
Knock that off.
Sheesh.
Oh wow! Apparently, you can get on their website. You can get different roast levels, so light roast, medium roast, or dark roast, or with whole bean or ground for each of their flavors. I didn't know that was.
That makes a lot of variety, man.
Yeah, man. You just got to know which flavor you want, I guess. But no, it doesn't tell me anything about the beans on here. I think it does on the bag, but I'm out, guys.
Hey, did you see what Red Pill is saying? Shout out to Red Pill. He says Ethiopian beans can be high in limonene. So
That's
we're talking terps again.
That might be why I like this.
They do have
There
like
you
a harsher flavor. I had some Ethiopian and it was like much stronger
I
flavor.
like Kenyan.
I love the coffee conversation because it's so socially acceptable. It's such a socially acceptable drug. You know what I mean? Like it is exactly what we make a plant extract every morning. We're talking about, most of us receive our plant extract already ground, so we're kind of disconnected to it being a plant. You know what I mean? We're just like, oh, it's coffee. And a lot of people, most people who go for coffee are going for the stimulation of that psychoactive substance that
Either this, just like us, THC and strength. Some people want the strongest coffee, and some people want the sweetest, most flavorful coffee.
Exactly. And I like a little bit of both. I like the stimulation that it adds, you know, like for the wake up a little bit. But I really feel like I like the aroma, the flavor. I like to sit down with the combination with the smoke. I like the old smoke and a coffee synergy.
Yeah, man.
When I was a cigarette smoker, it would be that one. Now it's a cannabis, you know, cigarette, and I like that synergy. And I, you know, caffeine is one of the caffeine does some things, you know. So I'm trying to do that, but we don't really talk enough about how coffee and caffeine, and like we're talking about espresso. So a lightly roasted espresso is usually a dark roast, right? So, and that's because like if you were to use a light roast, you would get twice as much caffeine in an espresso, right? Espresso is already like boop doop doo, you know what I mean? What about a more potent espresso? You know what I mean? So like it's kind of like that thing where like caffeine has like put people in the hospital because they're like I've heard of like kids like taking their coffee and then rerunning their coffee to get more caffeine effects, and like it just
caffeine pills were a thing back when we were in high school. That shit was not good,
dude. Like ephedrine. I mean, but caffeine alone, you know, just caffeine alone is very socially acceptable, but we don't really realize how much of it has been utilized as just like cannabis is a plant made into plant medicines, plant extract. Coffee is a plant extract, just like all that stuff. It's been worked with trade throughout millennia.
And the roaster is like the hash maker. You know what I mean?
Dude, some of my best friends bought me like French presses and stuff like that because they know what I do and they know I like coffee and they're like, dude, this just seems like something you'd be into. And I'm like, it is, and I am. Yeah. And thank you very much.
Give you those flavors, man. And it is, the growers are looking for the best flavor beans and you know, best, methods to cultivate in. And we're all very, very similar, all these methods, but socially, I like to like normalize cannabis that way, is letting other people understand like cannabis is not that much different than caffeine. In fact, a lot of us are using caffeine as a mechanism in the morning. It just so happens that caffeine's
everybody
throughout the world.
Everybody self-medicates, Fred.
Yeah, yep. And a lot of people use caffeine, and a lot of people also use pharmaceuticals, but that's a different.
I used to use, when I was back in the days of, or early days of legalization, if you will, I used to use the argument, and I don't know what the statistics are today. I imagine they're probably higher, just the way things trend. But caffeine used to kill 10,000 people a year. Cannabis, was zero. It's like, that's a pretty easy argument right there with how widely accepted coffee and, Red Bull and Monster and all that is, you know what I mean? Yeah. But before we get off the coffee topic, if we are, I just wanted to bring up the Safari blend. I couldn't find a whole lot of information on regarding where it was grown other than their local growers in Kenya. But this Ethiopian blend, someone brought up the limonene in that. I'll just read you the quick, I guess, backstory on this. It says, did you know that coffee beans were originally discovered in Ethiopia? Which I guess I didn't. This flavorful blend features beans sourced from two distinct and equally celebrated regions within the country. I'm not even going to try. I probably should. Yurga Chef and Guji, you'll have the best of both worlds in every sip. Sorry, I know this sounds like a commercial. I'm not in any way sponsored.
You're good.
Passion, I got to share it. The Yurga Chef beans are sourced from Behatu Jabicho, who has been cultivating coffee on her farm since the 1950s. She is over 80 and is passing on the traditional techniques of processing Ethiopian coffee to the next generation. I wish it would tell us what those processing techniques are. Right. The Guji beans are naturally processed, which involves drying them in the sun while still inside of the coffee cherry. Natural processing imparts a fruity sweetness to the beans, and they can be easily enjoyed without sugar or milk. So maybe that's where that limonene comes from, is the cherry that the bean is. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen a coffee bean, what it looks like when it's like live on a plant, but it looks nothing like what you'd expect. It's kind of like that asparagus thing where it's like, oh yeah, like you see asparagus growing in the wild and you're like, yeah, someone's just trying to bullshit and like put some asparagus there, trying to make me think that's what asparagus looks like when it's growing, but that's what it looks like when it's growing. I'm gonna try to share a picture real quick. Okay, so yeah, that's how do I blow this up?
We had asparagus get like 8 feet tall this year.
Are you serious?
It was asinine. Absolutely asinine.
Like ferns.
Yeah, mind you, that's bolted. That's bolted asparagus, but like they were huge. And like because of like watching the garden, like watching how asparagus ferns out, I've been able to like spot asparagus wild, like roadside. You know what I mean? We were driving to my brother's one day and we're like, there's a bunch of fucking asparagus ferns right there. And I remember finding a bunch of asparagus ferns up north at another point too. That shit grows wild all over in Michigan.
Yeah, there you go.
Coffee bean.
Yeah, I mean it's
the cherry.
Yeah, it's the cherry. So they grow. Where is the picture? Yeah, there you go. So it looks like grapes almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
or like olives. Yeah,
beautiful.
I was thinking olives too.
Yeah,
so do you think they like fresh press those bad boys and do any kind of
sure you could do some rosin pressing on these suckers. I mean, why not?
You gonna dab it red?
Well, I don't know about dabbing. I mean, we just make some coffee with it. But
is there any kind of I wonder if there's any kind of like a medicine that they make or a drug that they make out of like
it's gotta be, dude.
Fresh. What are they? Fresh coffee beans, right? Is that the word? That's the word.
Right? Coffee cherries. Coffee cherries. Yeah. The beans are what's inside. It's almost like a nut, right?
All right. So kind of like a nut. So there's a shell. Maybe there's other alkaloids in that. Probably alkaloids, good dust. All the good stuff's probably in the nut. Yeah.
Because like peanut butter, right? We shell them and then we grind them, so it's not really. I'm trying to think of other like things like that we use, like the shell, like even oranges, apples. I guess we eat the skins, but
Yeah.
You know, some of the smaller fruits like cherries, obviously we do too. Grapes.
Isn't there a lot of?
Look at that.
Isn't there a lot of?
Spartan, hold on. You see that in chat?
Sometimes they use the cherry for compost.
Look at this.
Out
Wow.
there.
Yeah, man.
Project.
Out the bush.
There you go. It's
Oh,
awesome.
yeah.
That's cool. I've got 2. I'm probably gonna transplant them in some sip containers probably tomorrow. I've got 2 Spartan Pukes, 2 Snow Devils, and a Project V.
What are you looking forward to the most?
All of them. All of them. They all have their own. They all have their own spin to them. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be interesting to see. I don't know. They could all be males too. You never know.
I mean, it's not like we don't have a lot more, as you were saying, bullets and beans where that came from.
Exactly.
Like reload. Let's go.
Yeah. And then there's a lot of people, a lot of the testers are sending back information. I'm getting like early kind of information back right now. And right now, germination's all been really good. And then I've seen, I don't think I've seen anybody flip yet, but there's people that are like a week away or pretty close to flip. So
hell yeah, man.
To start seeing some of that. But yep, so it's cool to see.
That's awesome.
Baked, what are you like? Spartan Puke's got to be up your alley, right?
Yeah, I got some right here, but I just haven't popped them yet.
Which is Vortex and Donnie, right?
Vortex
Yeah.
and Donnie, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
February 6th is
Anything with Donnie.
full moon.
Yeah.
6th. I think we're gonna start prepping this week. We've been planting seeds, but yeah, dude, Baked, if you want to do a full moon plant, do it next Monday.
Donnie.
Oh, good. Next Monday,
Ooh.
the 6th.
Oh shit! I'm actually gonna be out in California. If anybody's out there wants to hit me up this for this weekend, but
It's a large area. Are you talking northern, southern?
Southern. So way south.
Huh.
Like Vader OG's old stomping grounds. Put it that way. If you
There
guys
you go.
know, you know. You got to be an old ass fan, I guess, if you know that. But
Yeah.
Business or pleasure?
I mean, mostly pleasure.
There you go. Hell yeah, have a good time, man.
Yeah. Hopefully, I mean, the weather's kind of shy right now. They're bringing like more rain than like.
Bro, it's
like,
13 degrees outside right now.
I was
I know.
looking at the forecast
here in
today.
Southern California.
It's gonna be cold.
I think it's 5 degrees here. Right? Yeah, it's literally 5 degrees here right now.
Oh, that's sick. That's
We're
awesome.
7. We're at 7 right now.
It says 8 now on my computer.
Yeah.
I'd like
there you
to.
go.
I want to get mine now.
8
Should say
degrees.
bottom right corner. Are you on a Mac or something? No,
Yeah.
you're not a Mac guy. There's no way.
He's
Oh,
not
bottom
a-
right.
Yeah,
No, I turned that off.
of course.
Turn that off. I don't need. I
Slow
don't
down.
need
need to know what
extra.
it's
down,
like
man.
outside.
Yeah, yeah.
Aiming down.
It's 10 degrees.
It's 6 degrees here.
11 degrees in
There
there
you go. It's a nippy night here
Yeah.
in the mitten.
with the chickens.
But it feels like negative too.
Yeah.
Don't hit me with that wind chill shit, man.
There's no
What?
way.
I believe in that. Are you kidding? You go out there and it'll feel like negative too.
Yeah, not for me because I'll be in my car. I won't be out in that shit.
Oh, I tell the dog
With
I
the
gotta
heat
let the dog
blasted,
out.
man.
Like, hurry up, dog.
Go from beard on fire to beard on ice in this weather, man.
Yeah, man, for real.
Ooh, Baked. My area says feels like -4.
Oof.
Yeah. Oof.
I feel chilly for you.
But it's
Don't
10
you have to take Frosty out one more time, bro?
This thing.
Yeah, but so what I'll do is I'll go open the porch door. I'll go, and I'll shut the porch door. I'll run inside. And I'll look through the window on the door until he's ready.
You're just gonna stare at him out the door, right?
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. He dilly dallies. He dilly dallies.
He's the
And I'm
shilly-shally
sick of
here.
it. Don't go way over there when it's 1 in the morning and you know it's the bedtime pee. Just piss right there in front of the door
Yeah, dude.
and let's go.
I feel you on that.
Yep.
Baked. He
I
has
had
old
to go to my
freaking
older
balls, man.
slippers this morning because these slippers that they're like slides.
Yeah.
They stick. They have no traction
Yeah.
at the bottom. If
No
I
traction.
snow, I'm gone, dude. I'm just
Bite
gone.
it, man.
So he runs off into the fucking gate and starts barking at 4 a.m. this morning. I'm like, I had to go and change my fucking slippers to go get him.
Yeah.
Yeah, DOG likes to travel all around the whole yard every time he goes out.
He's got to check it out, man.
Everywhere out. But he'll take
No, Skilla, they don't need to check it out. I checked it out for him. I did an ocular pat down of the yard. Everything's secure. Just do your pee. I got your back.
That's
right.
what
From
Keelan
his
is for.
If you think about it, Baked, how much time does he really get to spend outside?
Baked,
No, I
fair,
get that, but
to be fair, Baked, he's going out in the woods to check that out. You know where you didn't look yet because you can't see behind you.
that's true. He can't see 5 feet in front of him.
He can smell. He can smell, and then he can.
No, he'll go to the edge over there.
Okay, yeah. Cool.
Decide that the snow I shoveled is too high, even though it was fine yesterday where he peed. Walk all the way to the other side, and then pee, and then have to come a mile back. It's a whole ordeal. No, sometimes you get lucky. It's like a gamble. Sometimes you get lucky, and he just goes straight out, and he's like, psh, and comes straight in. And you're like, oh yeah, you're cold today.
Baked Pone, the riverboat gambler, man.
But yeah.
Big money stakes when it's fucking 4 degrees below outside with the wind chill factor.
Yeah, there is. That's death weather. You can die in that weather. So let's dilly down. The pee he's peeing could freeze inside to his, you know what, and then cause problems. That's how cold it is.
It's not in like Chelyabinsk, Russia or something, bro. It's not negative 64 or something.
It's cold enough. You don't dilly dally.
Don't shilly shally.
I've got a
Florida boy, man. This is cold.
I don't stand out in rainstorms either.
That's a good point.
I tell, come on now.
Bake, don't you talk to him, right? So you just got to hit him and teach him this: to say, the quicker you pee, the quicker we flee. Like we could get out of here. We could fly back in the house.
You think a saying is gonna save it? I've said everything to this dog. He doesn't come for nothing. He just wants to smell.
What breed is it?
He's a bulldog pit bull.
Yeah, so, dude, okay, so we're talking about 3 pit bulls, right? That do the same shit.
Exactly.
Mine does the same
nature.
thing.
It's in their nature to just dilly-dally and be like,
My pit bull, it's a pit bull mastiff, will like hear a deer or whatever, like
just don't go crashing off into the woods.
And she's off, she's off to the races, and there's nothing I could do.
Luckily, my dog's old, so he'll hear it and he'll go.
Not worth it.
What was that? And then he'll look in the direction, and the thing will probably be gone. He'll just stare. Okay.
It's just like not today, bro.
I like Spartan showed me a trick with his dogs. I went over and they were in the backyard. He goes, "Watch this." And what was the word? He said, "Somebody's here" or something is the key word. Yeah. And you hear them just bolt around the corner, come up the porch, and they're rearing.
When I used to train dogs and teach people to train dogs, I used to try to explain to them that, first of all, usually your dog doesn't know his actual name. He just kind of knows when you start making a series of hoots and grunts that he should look in your direction. But that's about where it ends.
I'm so like, if that's true, I've lived with him for almost 14 years. That's horse shit. You should know your name.
Okay, so when you teach a dog his name,
the sound of his name.
He should, but if people chant it at the dog all the time, it doesn't mean anything. It just becomes background noise. It's Charlie Brown. Wah, 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 wah. It doesn't mean shit to the dog. So like when you're teaching dogs things, like you're teaching them their name, the dog's name means stop what you're doing and then make eye contact with whoever said it. And then if you're more than like a leash's length away, which would be about 6, you should probably come towards me. Check in. And we'll go from there. So the way you do that is the easy way. The old way would be to like try to jerk him and drag him, like trying to pull an elephant, out of the cage. The easy way is to like let your dog know that, hey man, I got something good over here you might want. Whether that's, a piece of his daily kibble or maybe something a little better like a ball or the tug toy or whatever. You're just making that association. This sound means stop what you're doing, come see, and then we'll go somewhere. You can't just incessantly chant the dog's name at him. We all know it, man.
When they're done,
I'll do some testing, but I think Frosty knows his name.
Frosty.
He can't hear me. So I have to
You
hit
just
that
do it
level.
louder.
Yeah, but I'm not trying to trigger the like, oh, noise response
The
you're talking about.
vibration for the little bit that he does get.
Hey, Frosty,
DOG had a name before I
he's
got him,
asleep. He's asleep.
and I
What
got
was
him.
his name?
I got him in the first year of his life. It was Thunder, and
Thunder.
And
Thunder.
no, like,
Thundercats. Oh.
he was probably at least 5, 7, 8 years old, and he wouldn't respond to it, but I would say Thunder, and he would like perk his ears up, and like,
Okay.
I've heard that before. You know, it was kind of like, but when he was younger, it was a kind of a challenge, you know, to like change his behavior to a different name. I don't know. I did it pretty much similar to what you said, Scobo. It was just kind of like, you know, using
It is. And then you need to train with like $100 bills instead of dollar bills. So if you want to teach your dog an emergency recall, because we get an almost emergency way out of this, say something like, I don't know, pick some stupid word like pocket watch, or I don't know, something the dog's not going to normally hear. And every time you say that word, you have to give them this $1 million treat, and only say it at that point in time. So the dog makes the association that they hear this sound and they get the best thing in the world. So they're going to be riverboat gamblers. And we hope that you guys have been good riverboat gamblers and will come back through and hang out with us next time that we do a show, hopefully Thursday night, Polarity Science at 10 p.m. And if not, it'll be over on the Bro Show Live Sunday night at 9 p.m.
I think we'll see everybody Thursday night. See you all behind the veil.